So starting on your back, knees bent and feet flat. We're going to start with just a little bit of breathing and finding this space in your belly and rib cage. So we're going to take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I want you to place a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly, and really work to fill the hand on your belly first. You should feel the belly hand rise and lower while the chest hand stays relatively still. After you feel like you have that pretty well down, we're going to take the hands and sort of switch them so that you're wrapping around the rib cage here. And then we're going to do the same thing, same breath. You're still filling, and you might feel your fingers move upward, right? That's what we were just doing. But really the key is to find how to get this 360 big breath in through the rib cage and through the lower back. So as you breathe in, see if you can make your hands span out. See if you can get some pressure in the back where your thumbs are touching. So they don't arch to get your hands underneath. You're staying in this nice neutral spine. You're just trying to figure out how to shift the air from different places in your body as to be able to mobilize that rib cage as a whole, rather than just belly breathe and overstretch the fascia here. We want to also breathe into our backside to release some of that fascia too. So spend about 5 minutes a day working on just this nice belly breathing, slow and controlled, certainly nothing that would make you dizzy. So the first movement we're going to go into is just a simple knee to chest. So you're going to bring a leg up and squeeze that knee in towards your chest in efforts to get a small stretch through the low back and into the glutes. And then you're going to rotate that leg around and pull into this nice figure 4, and then relax it down. Switch legs, bring it up, rotate, and relax. All the while we're breathing. Slow and calm breaths so the body knows that it's safe and knows that we're putting it in a place that is a safe environment and that it doesn't reject the things that we're doing. And that's sort of how our neurologic system works, is if we throw too much at it at once, sometimes it'll just tighten all of our muscles back up, and in the end end up causing far more pain than what we started with. Last one here. Good. Relax those hips. So now what we're going to do is bring the feet together and let the knees fall away from one another. We spin here. So feet are going to be together, knees are going to be apart like a frog, and we're going to press the hips up. So you're squeezing the tush together, squeezing in through kind of the circumferential musculature around the hip and squeezing toward the ceiling. And then we're going to rest back down. As you're moving through this, I want you to think about segmental movement of the spine. So rather than just lifting right up, right, you're going to tuck your tail under and then rise piece by piece as we go, and then lower piece by piece, just the same. Rise it up and take it down. You should be getting a stretch somewhat in the front of the thighs, nothing extreme, some working in the glutes, and hopefully no pain in the back. If it's painful in the back as you come up, I want you just to come partial and then come back down. Come part of the way and relax down. And see if after 3 or 4 reps that then maybe you can get a few more inches off the ground before that pain sets in. Okay? And let's get one more here. And relax. So now we're going to choose a side. We're going to reach the arms out in front. If you need a little bit of stability for the neck, you might grab a pillow or a yoga block or just something to give your head a little bit of support. So we're going to extend this bottom leg out straight and bring this top leg forward. Arms are going to reach out in front, and you're just going to pull back and open. and then relax. And I'm actually going to take this away. So if the neck doesn't bother you in this, then it's better for you to not have that support. And close it down. If this feels fine for you, let's get 5 here. So you're reaching past the hand here, and then we're rotating and opening this way. Rotate and reach and open. Okay? And then you can take your hand and kind of hold the thigh down. And we're going to do the same sort of thing, but rather reaching up and around now, following the hand with your eyes. And then we're going to come back up and through. And we'll get 5 here. And your head's just relaxed. You're just letting it kind of roll and float along the floor as it feels good. Perfect. And then you're going to roll and do the other side. All right, so now let's find ourselves kind of in this kneeling position. If you can get here comfortably, great. Because we're working on a few things here, right? We're working on the ability to really stretch out this front side of the ankle. We're working on knee and quad mobility here, as well as being able to relax into this position. If it's painful in the knees, painful in the ankles, you may just add a few props. So if knees are painful, you might just give yourself a little block or a pillow and just kind of sit on it here. If you're finding that your limitation is more in the front of the ankles, you can just get a small towel or same block. The block is probably a little large, but it can give you that support, and you can kind of accomplish the same thing. And then over time, working to be able to come into this flat position. But most important that you're comfortable so that you can move in this position initially. So we're gonna be here. You're gonna sit up nice and tall so we're not slouched back this way. So you're up nice and tall, and all we're gonna do is plant a hand and reach up and over. And plant a hand and reach up and over. Pieces of this to think about is one, to not be lazy in the movement, right? It's easy to just kind of reach over, let your hips fall to the side, and just kind of reach with your arm. It's important to get the most out of this, to really keep active through here and support yourself with your arm here. Don't let your hips really go anywhere, and reach, and then reach for the ceiling as if you were really trying to stretch and get something up from the top shelf, and then come back down. That way we're getting that full fascial line with each movement. Okay, so if that is too painful for the shoulders, if it just doesn't work, what we're gonna do is keeping the hands kind of back behind the neck, doing the same thing. So you might give yourself the same support, but this hand doesn't have to reach over. It's just a little bit greater of a stretch. But if you're getting binding and pain here, then just wherever you can find a position in the arm that you can create a reaching type stretch, as if you're trying to arch your body up and over. And you can do the same thing that way. If this position is just unattainable with all the modifications, we can also come into a sort of crisscross applesauce position, or you may just sit off the edge of your bed as if you were on a surface and do the same thing. So all I have here is a ball for demonstration purposes, but if you were sitting off the edge of your bed with your legs dangling here, you could accomplish the same thing. Ball's also a great tool if you have one. Just don't fall off of it. So now we'll come into a hands and knee position. So you're gonna rotate so that knees are underneath the hips and that hands are underneath the shoulders. You might fold the fists in or the hands in so if it's strenuous on the wrists. And all we're gonna do here are a few scapular push-ups. So all that means is you're gonna dip down and press up. So your abs and low back aren't going anywhere, but rather we're thinking about your shoulder blades, letting you come down and pressing you up. You'll notice that my elbows aren't bending. and I'm just moving up and down. My neck is staying neutral, and I'm breathing just the same, okay? And we'll get 10 there. Perfect. From there, we're just gonna come into a cat-cow motion. So you're gonna roll the back, so the spine rounds, the tail's tucking, chin is coming to your chest, and then you're gonna reverse. So eyes are gonna come slightly forward, shoulders are staying away from the ears, and you're coming back up. Belly drops toward the mat, shoulders stay away from the ears. Nothing painful here. And one more here. Good. And the last couple that we're going to finish with is a nice suboccipital and neck stretch. So what we're thinking about doing here, if you can envision that you have a baseball tee with a bowling ball on top, right? So we're going to try to take that ball and spin it on the tee rather than roll it off of the tee. So your head is the bowling ball and your neck is the tee. So what we're thinking about doing here is taking a hand to the chin and then taking another hand to the back, kind of right where that bony part starts in the back of your head. And what we're doing here is pushing the chin backward and then spinning this bowling ball forward. So chin is coming back, not down, and we're spinning. So primary stretch should be felt right along the side of the neck here. And you're pushing gently. This is not an aggressive stretch. You want to make sure and do it with both hands. Okay. Last thing is to work on a little bit of articular movement in the spine. So we're thinking about taking our chin down to your collarbone and then rolling it around to the shoulder, and then you're to come up and through, down to the other shoulder, and around across the shoulder blade, or the clavicle, and then back again. So we're coming up, and down. A little bit of pain here is perfectly normal. Don't crank and push through too much pain. Just lessen the range if you're finding that you can't quite get there without a lot of pinching. Another great thing to add into this is that as you're moving, if you kind of take the skin right around your clavicles or collarbones and sort of hold it down a little bit. You don't have to aggressively dig in, but just sort of hold this down as you move through this motion, and you'll notice that as you come up, how much tighter that front neck might feel. And reverse. And one more time each way. All right, shake those arms out, look side to side just a few times, and really open up that range.